On behalf of IRC, Arbade Medical College, a constant college of Vinayaga Mission Research Foundation, deemed to be university, we welcome you all for the 8 days workshop on research methodology. As per the guidelines received from our university, this research methodology workshop has been scheduled between May 3rd and 13th May 2021 from 2 p.m. onwards. This workshop is mandatory for all faculty members. The IRC team organized 20 sessions of 18 eminent speakers. Today's sessions, we have a eminent speaker, Dr. P. Kotur, sir, Dr. Vishnu, sir, Dr. Pushpa Kotur, madam, the professor in the OT department. So, we will send you the feedback link. Kindly provide the response. I will request our deans to welcome all our participants and start our first session. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Ravi. My colleagues, Professor Bhatt, Dr. Mahalakshmi, and all the HOIs, Dr. Rajan.
Sir, Dr. Satyamurthy has also joined, sir.
Director. Oh, sir, Professor Satyamurthy, sir, good afternoon. Indeed, it is a matter of privilege for me that AVMC has been entrusted the responsibility of conducting this research methodology workshop for all the health science institutions in the campus. Our IRC has that opportunity, and I consider it as a privilege. And a lot of work has undergone in preparing that, and it will be there for half a day for almost how many sessions? 10 days?
8 days, sir.
8 days, yeah. And I take this opportunity of welcoming on behalf of the research unit of the university and on behalf of Honorable Vice Chancellor, because at his instance this workshop has been planned, and also to fulfill the requirements of the NAC. So it is a multifaceted, but anyway, one thing goes undoubted is when it is quite useful and certainly useful for any of us, every one of us. This is what my initial remarks are, and I welcome you all for this AVMC platform. And the topic that has been given to me is only one very simplest one. Only one why research. That's all. And I'll try to answer this question. And what I thought before straightway going to answer why research, and I thought let me spend a couple of slides or a couple of minutes in telling what is research, which many of you already know. And of course, the term research, we all of us have encountered at one point or the other till now in our respective fields. And irrespective of our profession, be it a medical, be it a nursing, be it a allied health science profession, for everybody, the research, the regulatory requirements is one of the tool of measurement of one's competence or one's professional development year by year. So for having entered the profession, we have to professionally progress, and research is the tool of the assessment. Other scholarly activities are also there, but a lot of weightage that is given to research. The other scholarly activities like education or training and or the patient care, those kind of things will take a little back seat. The research is the one which is prime. Even our regulatory council metrics also research have got such a weightage. You all are aware of it. With these few remarks, let's begin the business proper. The overall aim of this workshop, this course or the workshop is to improve the research skills and competence amongst all the faculty, strengthening their knowledge as well as their skills, technical skill, writing skill, etc. That is all broad goal of this 8 days workshop. And prior to that, I have formulated certain objectives of this workshop. Of course, from the curriculum or syllabus that was sent by the university, we have tried to accomplish these at the end of the workshop. At the end of the workshop, all the participants should be able to explain what is research and why research, define the research problem, developing an approach to research problem and selection of suitable research design. A lot of time we'll be spending on discussing various study designs. Understanding of that is very, very essential for us to go further. Something is coming. Annotate the shared content. For Ravi, what is this? Ashira Gopi is requesting to annotate the shared content.
Sir, ignore, decline.
Ignores.
Okay. I don't know. And at the workshop, you should also be able to perform the review of literature and literature search. Unless we do that, we cannot begin the process of the research itself. That all of you are aware. Then the finding out the strength and weaknesses of the research that has been done by somebody, that is the critical appraisal of an article. There is a session on that also, because these things are all prerequisites for you to plan your research. And of course, the knowledge about statistics, define the basic principles and practice of biostatistics, that's very much needed. And you should be able to formulate the protocol or describe the steps in the protocol development. And you should have adequate knowledge of the research ethics, ethics involved in research, as well as the publication ethics and the issues related to that. And there is a session about the animal experiments and cell culture studies, wherein a lot of research will be on these things also, and our institute is venturing into that. So these are some of the objectives we have planned to be accomplished by the end of the workshop. Slide doesn't move. Yeah. So this is I'll try to define what is research. I've collected several definitions from different sources, and the meaning involved is quite obvious, and all of us know that. If you know already, think that this is strengthening of the concept. Research in an organized inquiry. What is underlined is it has to be organized step by step, and inquiry carried out to provide information for any encounter, any problem encounter. So one thing is, you all know, research is quite essential for the growth and development of any science. Without research, any science cannot progress. It is a cornerstone. Then only the science can progress. If people involved in that profession are engaged in conducting research. So if you do the postmortem or the analysis of the word research process, re is doing it again, search is finding out, and the process is step by step in phase manner. So it's quite clear. There is nothing, no scope for any confusion as regards the understanding of the meaning of the research is concerned. So these are some other definitions. Research is a general term that covers all processes aiming to find responses to worthwhile scientific questions. So you have a formulated scientific question, and you try to answer that by a systematic and a scientific approach. That is one of the definitions. And in fact, research is a search for a scientific knowledge. Knowledge has no boundaries, knowledge has no end, and knowledge has no limits. So more and more you start searching, more and more you start realizing it is a systematically formal process to increase the full knowledge and use it properly. And say ultimately, whatever research you do, it has to be useful to the end user. That's what is the main aim. Systematic process of collecting and analyzing information to increase our understanding of the world is a very broader definition. We are living in the world, and you understand that. And the two things are what and how. What are the facts? What are the conclusions drawn? And how? What is the basis, scientific basis, or what are the critical components? These have to be essentially understood or answered. Hemalata. Who is this Hemalata? Oh.
Sir, please proceed, sir. I am muted.
Yeah. So research is a process by which the people discover or create a new knowledge about the world in which they live. That is another definition. Now we'll come to the question proper, that is what the why research. And if you ask me instantaneously, there is no time for interaction. I wanted to go on asking all the participants. Then no, the answer would have been the mandatory requirement for appointment or increment or promotions, be it any council, UGC or NMC, even other councils also. Even recently we have that Allied Health Science Council. There also they are just browsing that research has got enough weightage. So all the regulating councils mandate that the professionals involved in that profession has to involve in their research. So that is the one. Unless something mandated, normally we don't. And it is important for everybody, students, professors, centers, departments, government, hospital, everybody has research because everybody wants to be updated, everybody wants to be well informed, and everybody wants to take a proper decision pertaining to your profession. And there are some people who have got more instinct to do a research. Those people choose research as a profession, exclusively devoting themselves for research in their respective field. And if you go through our postgraduate medical education, the aim of the postgraduate medical education is to prepare a teacher and a researcher and a clinician. So preparing a research is one of the objectives of the education and training. So in similar, I'm sure the other councils also must have had this. So these are the reasons why research is on such a limelight. So there are some simplified objectives of research. Of course, I already said to discover new facts. Unless you discover new facts, you will be stagnated. Nobody wants to get stagnated. So to verify the important existing facts, to analyze an event or a process, to identify the cause and effect relationship. These are the common challenges, common things we encounter in our day-to-day life. To overcome or solve the problem occurring in our day-to-day life. It's becoming very hot today. You want to know what is the cause of that hot weather, or because of the heat you are suffering and I'm not feeling well, what is the effect of that? These are day-to-day problems everyone requires to be answered by research. Other objectives are to develop new scientific tools, concepts, and theories to resolve and understand and scientific as well as non-scientific problems as well. And this research, we try to answer some social problems also. That also you have to keep in mind. Research in social sciences, not only medical science, technical science. Now, this is a slide to show the significance of research. One thing is, this was the first line, it is something beyond the skill. It is something, a way of thinking, a way of examining any issue critically. That means in order to do a research, your thought process also has to undergo metamorphosis. You have to think in a different way, out of box thinking, you should say. So that's various aspects of the profession. You go out of the box thinking. Then only we'll land up with some new idea and start thinking of doing research. Understanding and formulating the guiding principles that govern particular procedure. Some procedure I described in your respective professions, respective subjects. Then you try to find out and new theories. And it is a habit of questioning what you do and examine to find an answer. And to inherent change is very much needed. Change is needed for the growth of the mankind itself. Change should be welcome, even though it is a little bit inconvenient and not always welcome. The change, many of us, we are in our own comfort zone, or we are complacent. And any change, first answer will be no. So that we have to come out of that. And change is very much needed. Of course, I already said research generates a new knowledge. See, I have listed here, there are some reasons why research is important. Again, research expands our knowledge, I already said, and it gives up new opportunities for growth. That we have to realize. And of course, research updates you latest information, and one feels proud. If you are updated in your subject, you feel strong. You being mentally strong, knowledge-wise strong. You feel you have an edge over others. So staying updated always being on the toes. Suppose you are a doctor, you are a physician, everything, always being updated will have a, you feel strong to encounter your patients and you will be able to talk confidently. And the research helps you know what you are up against, helps you to formulate your plans, what plan you like to do, what strategies you like to do in any of your activities. And of course, I already said when you feel strong, your credibility, you have got Dr. So-and-so has got 200 publications, he has got 300 publications, like that, it builds your credibility. And he has published in a recently high impact factor journal, so credibility is increased. People speak with you about you, and you yourself will be confident, and people also will be confident on that. We have been having triple F webinars, we are calling eminent people who feel proud to present their credibilities as regards the research publications. So research helps you to consolidate your scope. So research is more than a set of skill. I already said it is a and research tells you to have a better judgment or better understanding of any subject. And of course, it introduces you to the new ideas. More and more you immerse yourself in that, newer and newer ideas will come. What is not addressed till this day in this particular subject. So the more points you'll come across. Which of course, research is always a problem solving exercise. And it will help you to reach the people, to do a research, publicize it, and you are recognized. People will contact you. And it will be of public health, public interest, public advantage. So one thing is research encourages curiosity. Yeah, curious. When anybody is called curious, he will become more positive. You always say you have to be more positive towards life. Especially now we have realized that in such a grim situation, COVID pandemic, so much of you are curious how it is spreading, how it is not spreading, what is effective against that, how the patient, but there's some curiosity. So it can be encourages for you to find out, and you will be positive. Oh, something this happens. Today morning somebody was telling the pockets of COVID the viruses are there floating in the air. Now people have started taking samples of air. Became curious and try to find out. So that is being curious is always an advantage here. Not to get frightened. So then just to complete, for the sake of completeness, various types of research, the names itself are quite self-explanatory. Basic research, which deals with the fundamental sciences, fundamental problems of generating a new knowledge. That is basic research, study of the corona variant, study of the molecular structure, study of RNA. These are the examples. Applied research, find a solution to human problem and its practical use. So the antiviral agents, practicability of finding it against the COVID virus, or something with the simple things like washing hands with something different. So these are the applications of the research. That is applied research. Now, based on the approach you make, for the research, descriptive or observational, no intervention of any kind, no manipulation of to any of the variables. Just you observe silently. That is descriptive or observational research. Or you give some interventions. It is experimental research. Give something to this group of patients or group of animals, whatever it is, and see how they affect. So that is experimental. And technical development of a technique. Now, the other day we had a 3D one demonstration wherein the technical research, you will give a real-time feeling of as if you are seeing inside the chamber of your heart. That was pretty. So these kind of technical researches. So this is on a descriptive or observational, how man evolved from a monkey. And you can have observational study on, like example I'm trying to give, is giving 2 drugs, experimental. And this is the technical, doing a surgery, robotic surgery. Then, of course, we all must be aware that the purpose of research are to, either to explore or to describe or to give an answer, explain. So these are the 3 broad purposes of the research. And we are all familiar with the qualitative research, quantitative research, and mixed both qualitative and quantitative. This is the table which shows the difference between qualitative and quantitative. Educational research is a qualitative research. The research which is by numbers is a quantitative. The research which is by text is qualitative. So it is the quantitative is more objective, whereas qualitative is more subjective. These are available, more generalizable, less generalization. You should have some fair idea of this qualitative as well as quantitative research. There are certain constraints, you have always knowledge, and if you are aware of the constraints, then you will have some solution for that to overcome them. So ethical constraints of the research, because of the ethical reasons you can't think of. That's why all the institutional animal ethics, ethics committee, animal committee, ethical committee is there, or to address the issues related to the research, conduct of research, whether you are violating any of the ethical issues related to the participants. And of course, economical constraints. Economical constraints, government says, all you do the RT-PCR free of cost for 500 rupees. Our nightmare is institution is spending 1,500 for each kit. So economical constraint for a research or a conduct or application of a research. Of course, social issues. So these are some of the possible constraints when you start doing research. This is a very interesting question. Is research time a waste of time? That was the title of the editorial in the Lancet. And you'll be surprised to know that the editorial of 2015, I think, Lancet, it said that 85% of the research is wasteful or inefficient with deficiencies. And they have narrowed down, they have analyzed that, and they have said that deficiencies were identified as related to these 4 questions. Either the research question being irrelevant for the patients or the clinicians, or the design or method was inappropriate or inadequate, and the full report not accessible, or there were bias, or clinical meaning was not there. So these were the questions related to which the editorial has said that 85, that means only 15% of the research that is done is valid, useful, really to be thought. And one thing with the commercialization, globalization, and industrialization, even research has become an enterprise. It is an economic engine for nations. See, everybody has done a research and stocked a pile of COVID vaccines. I don't want to give anywhere. It's an economic engine for the nation. Money will come. So, but one thing is, research is something more than that. Of course, by a lot of help has been coming to India now, because beyond that, something humane, something social. To the view of the general public, we always say a very broad statement that it is for the benefit of the mankind. The general public perception is research is to advance the knowledge for good of the society, for improvement of the mankind, to fight a disease, to create more diagnostic tools, more treatment tools, or prevention facilities. So this is just a slide. The message is research is certainly not a waste of time. So the take-home message, I said, is research is not a waste of time, but a scientific investment. So if you invest that much, 100 rupees, 15 rupees worth might be useful. It doesn't mean that 85 rupees is a waste. You can't have that kind of a perception. To have a 15% useful benefit, investment has to be 100. That means we all have to invest. Don't think that thought that research is a waste of time. So these are some of the things I just wanted to share, which I feel will lay down the foundation or keep the discussion going for the sessions to follow now. Thank you very much. I think I have finished well in time. Any questions? I do not know what Ravi Kumar has.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes.
I have a
so you-
question, sir.
Yeah, please, please.
Sir, nice this thing, sir. Only thing is, no, sir, like I really liked that what you quoted about the purposeness of research, no, sir, that how much is actually really advancing this. Because most of the times we end up spending 6 months, 1 year, 2 years trying to study some research problem and come up with some answer and all that. But if the question is not relevant or question is not really advancing science, we are only going on a fishing expedition or trying to do me too kind of research. No, again,
Right.
trying to see this was done in MGMC, which is about 5 kilometers away. So we'll repeat the study here and see if it is showing the same results and all that. So, like, finally, no, sir, we need to look at how much effort goes in and what is the outcome we are getting. We are only looking at research outputs, sir. How many papers got published, how many these things came, how many it got indexed and all that. We should be looking more in terms of outcomes rather than output. Outcome is how much new knowledge is generated and how much it changed the practice. So what is the point in doing one research in for 2 years using our PGs, but we don't even develop practice guidelines for our own department, our own unit knows. It need not be like earth-shattering thing, whole world need not follow us. But at least our own unit, we should develop more practice guidelines. Then only it shows that robustness of what we have done. I don't know.
Yes, yes, Professor Malakshmi, wonderful. I agree for all comments. One thing, certainly I must respond to this PG issue. See, my understanding is the PG dissertation is aimed at teaching the PG students the methodology of research. It's not outcome-oriented research. This is what I understand. If the PG student, even though he copies from MGMC, in the bargain, if he has learned the methodology of how doing the research, we wish and hope that after completion of his PG, he will really involve himself in research. Okay. Professor
Thank you,
Satyamurthy, you are here. Thank you. Professor Satyamurthy is trying to talk. Or oh,
sir, you can
Sir, you are
unmute, sir. You
muted.
can unmute.
Unmute, sir. Malakshmi, you are prohibited.
Sir, when you
Just
were
now,
speaking,
just
there was a lot of disturbance. So I disabled that when you are speaking.
Okay,
Now I
fine.
muted it.
Yes, sir. It's a very good this thing. I joined, but in between I had to get out because some problem was there in the audio. But whatever I heard, it's extremely good and real opening remarks you made. But I have few comments. The Lancet, when they told, I think you are taking the text of the Lancet thing, but the title is yours. Maybe that is my feel. This is research wasteful. Is research a waste? That 85% waste, 85% waste. What they meant, maybe 85. It's not that research is 85% waste. No, the type of research which we are doing is not yielding more than 15% of the results. That maybe they may be their meaning may be that is one. And second thing, as Dr. Mahalakshmi has rightly put it, there should be a good communication network among the researchers so that they supplement to each other's efforts. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen. But one part feels that certain amount of repetition is not bad, in the sense that it will validate my results. For example, AVMC, I mean, if in our own system, if you take AVMC is doing something and another medical college is doing something, and then they come to the same results or they come to the different results, it adds to the research, certainly. So, certainly, I mean, certain amount of repetition is not wrong. But again, as you rightly mentioned in that slide, it should be goal oriented, it should be time bound to a large extent. Of course, all said and done, research cannot be 100% time bound. It's not a 2020 match that we have to complete in time. Even that is not completed in time. So, I mean, research is, I think today, if we are able to talk with each other sitting in different corners, it is because of the research that is done by somebody. And certainly, I'm sure in this current days where we are facing many challenges, research is certainly important. And I'm extremely happy. Maybe I think I'm getting into vote of thanks. I have sent the circular, but I'm very happy that AVMC has taken the initiative and come out with a very good resource persons. And I'm very happy that you have initiated the total talk program with your own first talk. Thank you very much, sir. I mean, maybe I think I have taken more than my time.
But Sir Satyamurthy, one line I must tell you, I was very cautious in putting that BMJ editorial slide because I didn't want to give any wrong message to any of the participants. It is an editorial titled the same, wherein what they meant was 85% of the articles published, they have analyzed putting those 4 questions, and they found out that only 15% is useful for the mankind. So this is, they have gone to the extent of telling that they are 15%, 85% were waste. And at the one more also I must tell, 4 internationally known journals, Lancet, New England Journal of Medicine, then JAMA and British Medical Journal, they did a quality of the research that was published in these 4 journals, and they had a tool. More than 50% of the research published in these 4 journals did not score 50% of the score. This is like an gigot technology. Anyway, we'll debate it later, both of us. Okay, Dr. Ravi, I think we have to go to the next session. Dr. Bhatt will be otherwise.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your extensive session, sir.